Hi, and welcome to Forex webinar number 7, the last in the series for now, the 6 simple secrets of successful trading. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my earlier webinars, a little introduction. My name is Jelle Peters. I'm the writer of Forex for Ambitious Beginners, which, among other stores, is available in the Amazon store, both as a paperback and for the Kindle. I'm a writer for financial media, and I frequently give webinars and seminars. In this webinar, we're going to look at the 6 principles that form the core of successful trading. Successful forex trading, but really it applies to other forms of trading as well. Now, the beginning letters of these 6 principles form the word grab it together, which of course helps you to remember the system. Now, the first word is goals. Really, whenever you want to achieve something, when you set out on a new path, on a new challenge, it helps to set clear, definable goals. This will help you to be able to actually move from one thing to another. Say, okay, I achieved this goal, I'm moving on. If you have goals that are unreachable or that are very vague, you don't have anything to measure up against, which will make it harder to have success in anything. But definitely also in trading. So write your goals down and make them realistic. You know, I often speak to beginning forex traders, and they often have goals, but many times they are not very realistic. For instance, they say, okay, I have $500. I want to turn that into $10,000 in a year. How about that for a goal? Well, it's a great goal, but it's kind of the same goal as hi, I bought this lottery ticket and I want to win $100 million in the lottery. What do you think of that? Well, that's fun. It's it's great, but it's not very realistic. It's not impossible. It's just not very probable. So these two, goals and realism, really go hand in hand. They're very important though. So to get to realism, to get realistic goals, answer these 3 questions for yourself. How much money can you invest? How much time can you devote to studying, and how much time can you devote to trading? If you have a lot of time for studying, you could obviously master more complex strategies, more complex technical indicators. You could learn more from great traders because they've written books and you can read about them. And if you have less time, then of course you have to keep it simple. The same goes for trading. If you have a full-time job that is consuming a lot of your time, you have only like 1 hour at night to do a little trading, then obviously you can neglect everything that has to do with intraday trading because you're not going to be an intraday trader. So it starts here really. You haven't done anything yet. You haven't even started at the market, but you're thinking about, okay, these are my parameters and now I'm moving forward. How do you move forward? You start with analyzing yourself. What kind of trader are you? I can tell you this, the most challenging aspect of trading is keeping your emotions out. Every successful trader will tell you this. It's very hard sometimes. Don't let anyone tell you different. To stay in a trade that is that's moving very well and to not take the profit because you haven't received an exit signal yet. It's also hard to take a loss. Everyone feels that way. You're not the only one. You think, okay, if I take this loss, I am out of the market. I have lost this trade. Whereas as long as you stay in the trade, it can still turn to your advantage. So there is always a temptation to move your stop loss so you can stay in the trade and you don't have to take the loss. Stuff like that is very normal, and you have to do everything you can to decrease, to limit the temptation. And one of the ways you can do that is by analyzing yourself, finding out what kind of trader you are, what kind of trading personality you have, so you can mold a trading strategy that better fits that, so you can better control your emotions. This is the 4th part, build. You have to build your own trading system rather than plucking one from the internet. That is very tempting as well, of course. I understand that. If someone writes a blog or a book saying, I have this strategy and it's awesome, that's great, of course. And it might work. It doesn't have to be a lie. It might work very, very well for them. It doesn't mean that it will work for you, though. So Although I strongly advise you to take note of those strategies, to read about it, let them tell you what worked for them, you still have to find out what works for you. You can borrow bits and pieces from other people's trading strategies if you can mold them into one successful strategy, but you have to do the work. Now, if you are a hobby trader and you just want to, stay in the market and not make a lot of money, not lose a lot of money, you don't have to spend years building your trading system. But if you are committed, if you are serious, if you want to achieve financial freedom as a trader, then it might take you years to build a successful trading system. But let's be honest, if you start a business and see this as a business, if you start a business, would you find it very odd if someone told you, okay, it might take you 3 to 4 years before it becomes a successful business? Would you think that's a long time? Because if you do, you better not start a business. And you better not start trading to become financially independent either, because it will take a long time. And don't let anyone tell you differently. So build your own trading system that fits your trading personality, which you found out already because you did your analyzing. You formulate a setup, an exit strategy, and you determine the right money management. Now you're in the market. Now there are the two things that are interesting about this word impassionate is that it has an opposite meaning. So on the one hand it means being passionate, and on the other hand it means the exact opposite, being dispassionate. The reason why I chose this word, other than that it fits nicely with the rest of the principles, is that it's actually true. You have to be passionate about trading, but very dispassionate when trading. Why? Well, if you're not passionate about trading, if you're only in it for the money and you don't care anything about price development and chart patterns or the news, or if you don't care about any of it, then I'll predict that you won't last very long. And this really is with everything, because in the beginning you might struggle there, and there will be difficult periods. So if you're not passionate about this, about the whole thing, you will most likely fail. I don't mean to be mean or anything, but you have to be passionate about it if you want to get through the difficult periods. Now, when you're trading, you have to be dispassionate. You have to be dispassionate when you trade, because the system has done all the work for that. You build a system which fits your trading personality, which has a good setup, which has a good exit strategy, the right money management, and then when the position is open, you are dispassionate. You don't care either way whether the trade goes right or wrong, because you have a system. The system does not provide you with 100% wins. No system can. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but the system makes sure that you win more than you lose more. That is, money. That maybe you make more losses as like 8 losing trades and only 1 winning trade, but if you are on the whole profitable, then that's okay. So when you're in the trade, you let the system do the work. You have the setup, you have the exit strategy, you're not worrying about it anymore. That doesn't mean that you can never change your system. It means that you trust your system. This is the last and probably most important part of the Grabit system: trust. You have to trust your trading system. You have to trust your setup. You have to trust your money management, and you have to trust your exit strategy. If you don't, you're very liable to change your system before it had a chance to prove itself. Let's take an example, a very simple example. So let's say you have a system that produces a 50-50 system, 50% winners, 50% losers, but the winners produce a win of 10 and the losers produce a loss of 7, right? So your profit, if you would do 100 trades and 50 would be losses and 50 would be winners, you would make 3 more, whatever it would be, pips or stones or gold coins, doesn't matter, 3 more per trade than the losses. So 3 times 50 is 150. You would make 150 profit. That doesn't mean, though, that if you do 100 trades that they will actually always be 50-50. It could mean 80 winners and 20 losses, or 80 losers and 20 winners. If you don't trust your system, You'll switch too soon and you'll never see whether or not the system is successful or not. You can tweak your system, but you have to do that sparingly, and you have to do that very mindfully. So you track the system, you evaluate the system, and once you find a real leak over a longer period of time, that's when you change it. This is also why it takes so much time to build a successful system, because you have to, you can't do it lightly. You have to spend time building that system, and then you have to spend time evaluating and tracking and tweaking the system. That takes time. But if you don't trust that system while it's up, while you're trading, you'll become impatient. And if you become impatient, you go out the market too soon because you're afraid your profit is gonna vaporize, or you're gonna go out too late because you're moving your stop loss because you don't want to take your loss, because you don't trust your system. Once you're in the trade, you have to trust the system. This really is one of the most important mistakes people make. So to sum up, GRABIT, the GRABIT system, is 6 simple principles. You have to have a goal or goals. Set those goals. They have to be realistic, so you know what you want to achieve, so you can work towards something. You have to analyze yourself to find out what kind of trading personality you have, so you can find out which trading system fits the best for you. That trading system you have to build yourself. There is no easy way around this. It's very simple. If you borrow someone else's trading system, however good it might work for them, doesn't mean it works well for you. You have to build your system. You have to take out the weak points, tweak it, improve it, and it has to be a system that fits your trading personality. So you have to come up with a setup, with an exit strategy, with money management, and you have to build that organically over time. You have to be impassionate. That means you are passionate about the trading, well, I can't force you that, but if you're not passionate about trading at all, I wouldn't advise you to dig deep in it, because it's going to be a long road. And you have to be impassionate, as in have no passion at all when you're trading, because your system has taken care of that. So when you're in the trade, emotions don't play a role. And lastly, you have to trust your system. You've built it, and you took your time to build it, and once it's running, you have to trust it. That doesn't mean you can't change it, but you have to give it time to prove itself. So you don't go out of a trade even if you haven't received an exit signal, just because you're afraid that the profit is gonna go away. You're not gonna stay in the trade because you think that it's gonna turn around, even though your system says you have to get out of the trade. You have to trust your system and be patient. If you do these 6 things, I cannot give you a guarantee that you'll be successful, but I can guarantee you that you'll have a lot more chance of becoming a successful trader than if you don't do them. So my advice would be to take a long, hard look at this system and try to incorporate it in your trading. Okay, this is the last webinar in the series. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to know more about successful Forex trading, you could get the book, as many of you already have, Forex for Ambitious Beginners, which goes deep into trading personalities, what kind of pairs could you trade, popular trading strategies, and things like that. If you have any questions, because you already bought the book, simply go to forexforambitiousbeginners.com and I'll be happy to help. Same goes for if you have any questions about this webinar. I hope you enjoyed it, and well, see you around.